Okay, so thank you everybody for coming to our second meetup for the 2022. So this is awesome. Wish we could be doing this like in person, but obviously we're here virtually. Depending on where things are for next month with COVID cases, it looks like things are dropping as far as last time I checked. We might be able to kind of do the hybrid thing again. But be on the lookout for that. I'll let people know. Obviously, it's like a kind of a day-to-day kind of thing. Don't want to go ahead and predict the future there because I don't think I would be doing a very good job. So I want to thank you everybody for showing up tonight. For those who don't know me, I'm your host, Hein, like the ketchup without the Z. I own a branding and webflow studio here in Ann Arbor called Huck Finch. So if you ever feel like your brand or your website is not up to par or a little embarrassing, you can holler at me. I'm happy to chat. With that said, I'm really excited and happy that everybody's able to join us because we do have 3 great presentations. I know Mark was trying to get me to pick my favorite one out of the 3, and I couldn't do it because all 3 of them are awesome. But before we do this, especially for those who are new to our meetup, a really big thing about like A2NewTech is the community and just the variety of people who are here and so what we'd like to do is just do a quick poll in order to see who is out here. So I'm going to turn the poll on now, and please let us know. I know there's going to be some people who can't answer because they are part of the co-host, but our options here are entrepreneur. If you are looking to be an entrepreneur, an investor, marketer, designer, that could be both branding, UX, UI, software developer, or other. And if you feel up to it, please in the chat, feel free to put in other, whatever your other would be. And I'll give folks another couple of seconds here to answer. I always have to do math to subtract the total number of participants from the actual code. Okay, I think we're a couple of short. Is this right? No. Well, either way, in a few seconds, I'm going to end the poll and share it. I think we have everybody here. Okay, so I'm going to share the results. So about 30%, 10 out of the 35 people who answered are entrepreneurs. That's awesome. We have 4 people here who are looking to start. So hopefully the presentations tonight inspire you to get stuck to start your own thing. And I'm sure the presenters themselves would be happy to answer any questions they may have about the experience to avoid any pitfalls. Got 3 potential investors, a marketer out here, no designers, 4 software developers who are obviously in high demand, not to say the marketer themselves are not, and then a whole bunch of others. So I'd love to kind of see who the others are as we do that. So as I continue to move on, again, like a big part of like A2NewTech is the community and who's here. First of all, we all obviously are inspired and support the community that is our just Ann Arbor and broadly for Michigan in general, since I've taken over as host, to really kind of support like the amazingness that's going on in the Mitten. And this community is where you can really like be able to lean on them. Another great place where you can lean on this community would be our Slack, which is, I'm going to share the link right now. It's a really great spot to ask questions or announce things or ask anything that you, if you are on a part of the Slack group, do join it. It'd be really awesome. Okay, so we're going to move into explaining about how this format works, especially for those who are new. So we have 3 presenters tonight. Again, or 3 amazing presenters, I should say. They'll have 5 minutes to present their products like startup. You'll have 5 minutes to ask them questions. For your questions, please type them into the chat. That way the presenter can just read it and answer directly. It helps make sure that we can get all the questions in as much as possible. And then we'll move into community announcements. So between now and then, you can think about yours. So whether you are hosting a meetup or you're an entrepreneur, like one of the 10 that we had, if you are hiring or if you're looking to be hireable, whatever your announcement is, feel free to think of it and share it when it comes to the community announcements. Afterwards, if you are able to stick around, we're going to break out into breakout sessions, about 4 to 5 people. If you are looking to chat with one of the presenters, if they're able to hang out, send me a DM and tell me like, hey, can you put me in a room with this person? I'll do my best to try to sort that out. Do that. And okay, so before I give you the lineup for tonight and hand things over to the reason why you're here, I want to quickly thank our sponsors, because without them we wouldn't be doing this. So first of all, we want to thank A2 Geeks, Roger Rails, who's there with that nice snowy background, which I can't tell if that's real or not because we're getting so much snow here. And then our co-organizers, the Entrepreneurship Clinic at U of M's Law School and Ann Arbor Spark. I also want to thank, while we're not there, like live right now, I want to thank Heidi and the team over at Forum as well, because they have been very gracious in hosting us when we are live. And I'm very excited to kind of see the new community hub when that finally launches right there off of South Industrial. Okay, so who do we have lined up tonight? First of all, we have CarBeast. It's coming up second is Verilink, and rounding us out is Kall Morris Inc. I'm going to quickly announce our first presenter tonight, Nandit Soparkar. I apologize, Nandit, if I fully pronounced your last name incorrectly. Of CarBeast. CarBeast is an AI assistant that helps you make informed decisions regarding your ownership, repair, and maintenance of your car. So with that, Nandit, it's all yours. So I'm going to spotlight you and feel free to present when you're ready.
Great. Thanks so much, Hein, for arranging this. Thanks to all the sponsors and all of you, especially who are here on the evening, snowy evening, I guess. I'm not sure, it was kind of warm. It was kind of at least bright throughout the day. So yeah, so in this 5 minutes that I have, I'll try to tell you a little bit about CarBeast. This is a new web app that several of us have started here. It is, probably it's best for me to show you the screen with what you see when you go to CarBeast. And you can see this on either your mobile device or on a laptop, which is what I'm using. So CarBeast is, as Hein mentioned, is an AI-based, it's data-driven, it's an assistant, if you will, that'll help you or help anybody that uses a car for repair, maintenance, for ownership, when you make decisions to buy cars, or when you make decisions to go service your car. This is using the web app itself has got a lot of, at the back end, there's quite a bit of heavy technology, if you will, and a lot of data. We're talking millions, tens of millions, in fact, hundreds of millions of repair records gathered over the years. It's meant really for car owners or car services who might be when the car is post warranty. So it's not at the time when the car is already taken care of by the manufacturer. It's more when you have to make a decision about getting your car repaired or maintained. The web app at the back end uses Ubiquity technologies. So Ubiquity has been around for many years. CarBeast itself has launched about, soft launch, if you will, about a few weeks back. But Ubiquity, we've been around for many, many years. It's almost, it's more than 2 decades. We're an Ann Arbor-based company. We are not Ubiquity Networks, by the way. But it uses the technology from Ubiquity. And this technology has been available to large manufacturing companies for the most part for so many years. But now we are making it available through CarBeast, the appropriate aspects for consumers. So what does CarBeast do? CarBeast allows you at the moment, it has two different applications or two different apps within it. The first one, which hopefully is showing up on your screens, is we call it the CarBeast Foresight. So think of it as something like Carfax, except it's looking forward. It is anticipating what problems your car might have, what repairs you might have to do for the next few months, few years, so that you have a better sense of what to expect in your car, in your current car or the car you're looking to potentially buy. So as to compare and contrast between cars and make a more informed decision. And it's all again based on data, on real data, the data that is from repair orders, like I said, collected over many years. The other one is what we call CarBeast Insight. So this is, think of it like WebMD for your car. So it's all sort of evidence-based medicine for your car, if you will. You can describe your problem if you are holding, if you have a mobile phone or even your laptop, I guess these days, you can speak into it. You can type into it. You can describe the symptoms you're having in your car, and it'll tell you what the likely repairs are and so forth. It'll even suggest nearby places if you're caught in the middle of some place and you don't know where to go. It'll actually show you which places around you can get your car fixed. So you can think of it, I had given a talk many years back at University of Michigan, and which is, by the way, where several of us on the team have connections to University of Michigan, the computer science department, if you're interested. But I'd given a talk there, and somebody had come up from the audience and said, it's like car talk. So those of you familiar with NPR's Car Talk, it's something like car talk, except it doesn't have the humor, of course. AI hasn't cracked humor in computers as yet. So these are the two current applications within CarBeast, but there are more that are in the pipeline. They're about to be rolled out, including things like reviews and so forth. And we're talking about weeks, not months or years, in terms of when it's going to be rolled out. So what what I'd encourage you to do is just go and take a look. And if you're interested, we are going to, I think Hein is going to send out a link for requesting a promo code, and you can, just let us know and we'll send you a promo code. You can try it for free. Actually, you can use it on your car, assuming your car is covered. And like I said, most of it is for cars which are post-warranty. And the description of how it actually works and so forth is given, at least to the level that a typical consumer might be interested to know. We're not going into all the detailed math and heavy statistics and machine learning and the like, which is all sitting in the background, right? So I think that's about it. I mean, it's more informational. Hopefully people will like it, and we are looking. I think it's part of the announcements, Hein, but we are looking to hire somebody who can do sort of front-end web development, because much of what you're seeing here is really done by back-end developers. We've got a very strong technical team, and it's still been put together really by that back-end team, really. And if hopefully you'll help us, those of you on the call on this meeting, get the word out. We are looking for press coverage and the like, so that people at least get to know and hopefully like our application and use it. At least I use it, and many of our friends and family and others and some people who have actually gotten to know about it have bought it, and those who've not used the promo code. That's awesome. About it. Yeah.
Nandit, thank you so much for sharing CarBeast with us. I remember seeing learning about the app through Concentrate Media, and immediately wanted to have you share it. It sounds really cool, and I definitely will be using it for my car, since I plan on riding driving that thing until the tires fall off. But with that said, it looks like you have some questions in here already for you, starting with Lindsay. So if you want to scroll up to Lindsay's question there, and we'll move into the Q&A section, and I'll share the link to the promo code and everything like that.
Okay, great. So Lindsay's asked, Can you let us know what data you used? Yeah, sure. It's not just a training set, by the way. It's, effectively, it's training and scoring, if you will, together, because we are using it to run the applications. It is repairs data from dealership and repair shops. So you get these things called repair orders. You're familiar, you'll have seen the written up repair order. And we have fairly advanced technology built over many years to extract out detailed information, including from the write-ups that the technicians put in, technicians and service advisors. So there's an element of NLP, natural language processing, that happens to extract out detailed information in order that we don't actually therefore need a very large data set. So I don't know if that answers your question. But if that doesn't, feel free to ask further. I'll go to the next questions, right?
Yeah.
Okay. A little difficult for me to manipulate this thing, but
Jim's asking, does you
correlate with repair data with digital owners' manual data? So in a sense, yes, in the sense that when you say the digital data, if you mean, say, DTC codes and the like, which is available, if you have one of those dongles which are connected into the car's output, OBD2 codes. So we do make sense of that too, but for the most part, it is the raw repair records. So one of the reasons we use the repair records and not necessarily and give more weightage to that is because what happens is, even if you get a digital code, a DTC code, what that code tells you, for example, it might say ABS sensor has triggered. It may not actually be with the ABS, the brake system. It might actually be with the problem, really, the root cause problem might be in the steering column. So we've had years and years of experience, as you will have seen if any of you go to ubiquity.com and see. So we are familiar with this data. We've lived and breathed it for 20 plus years. And so we use the data and give weightage to certain kinds of data more and less to the others, which may mislead in terms of the diagnosis or forecasting. Okay, then you've got, do you offer the service up in an API form with partners? Yes, we do. And this is from Gregory Montalvo. And so, yeah, we do offer it up in an API form in certain ways. And, we'd have to get into discussions on that as far as partners are concerned. Okay. Then B. Potter has said, I have all the repair records for a 1987 Volvo 240. If you need them for the app, thank you, Potter, B. Potter. Sure, but that's actually only one record, right? One win. We are talking about millions of wins for which we have the data, and it's actually, as you might imagine, putting together all of that information from the various wins and the various repair records that helps make the application work. But sure, we could use more data if you want to provide that. Does this, Nick is asking, does this facilitate techs repair maintenance teams to the car from diagnostics? So we're focused here more on the consumers rather than the technicians. On the other hand, the technicians could use it. Technicians typically require much more detailed information than we are making available on the CarBeast app. We have a different sort of interface and app for technicians. Now, technicians already get data, already get suggestions from the OEs like Ford, GM, and what have you. Technicians, if they are in the independent repair shops, might get it from some other applications like Identifix and the like, if some of you know that. But yes, CarBeast could be made available to technicians. We are exploring that, particularly with various partners who have reached out and with whom we are in discussions right now. What's our revenue model? Yeah, sorry.
I was going to say, Nandit, we probably have time for one more question before we move on to the next presentation, but feel free to answer this next one and the other ones that are sitting out there. Okay. You can answer them through the chat.
Okay, sounds good. So the two questions are talking about the revenue model. At the moment, our revenue model is to see, we are exploring consumers paying for the applications. We believe it's useful enough that, for less than the price of a cup of coffee, you might be inclined to have something in your pocket with your mobile application that allows you to go in, have a second opinion or check on what might be troubling your car or making a decision on buying a car. But we are also looking at sort of shared revenue models with business-to-business partnerships that we are exploring right now. So I'll answer the rest of the questions through the chat as Heine suggested. And
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Nandit, for your time, for sharing CarBeast with us. I'm going to reshare the three things. So there's the free promo code with the link there to everyone to give like CarBeast a try. They're looking to hire front-end UI developers and looking to continue to get more press. So there are the requests from Nandit. So with that, thank you again, Nandit, for your time. I'm going to hand things over to Nico to share Verilink with us. Verilink links NFTs, in brackets, proof of ownership on the blockchain, to physical objects to solve counterfeiting, improve brand loyalty, and create digital experiences. So with that, I'm going to hand things over to Nico. It's all yours.
Hey, everyone. Yeah, so I'm just going to share my screen.
Cool.
All right, so cool. Yeah, so my name's Nico, and thanks for introducing me. And I'm going to be talking about my company Verilink that I co-founded with Isaac, our CTO, and Katrina, our designer. So yeah, Hein introduced us as like NFTs, linking NFTs to physical objects, but we're currently focusing on liquor, and that'll become clear why. So liquor companies have a brand loyalty problem. 76% of millennials don't know what they want when they go to a liquor store. And in this case, the marketing aphorism that it costs 10 times more to keep a customer. Sorry. The marketing aphorism that costs 10 times more to gain a customer than does to keep one means that liquor companies could be losing up to 81% of their marketing dollars to reacquiring customers. So most brands believe that the key to solving this problem is to foster more genuine relationships and communities with their customers. However, liquor brands don't currently have a good way to do this. So we allow these brands to achieve this through collectible club membership passes. Brands like Coachella have already started offering similar passes that offer perks like VIP areas and free tickets. By attaching unforgeable smart tags or QR codes to the packaging of liquor bottles, we're able to transfer ownership of these passes to the users. These passes include flexible perks like discounts or access to exclusive tasting events that foster more genuine relationships and make customers more likely to be recurring. Furthermore, the passes can easily be resold, netting the liquor company resale royalties. So after talking to like a bunch of consumers, we've kind of come up with this set of insights. First of all, there's been an industry trend where customers have been trying new brands and kind of abandoning traditional big names in liquor. Also, consumers are seeking more premium experiences, and the industry name for this has been premiumization, experiences like tasting events and whatnot. And speaking of tasting events, these tasting events and tours of like distilleries or wineries are one of or the primary form of marketing for a lot of like smaller distilleries and wineries. The current existing solutions that they have to like this decreasing brand loyalty is basically just newsletters and email lists. And as you may know, email lists only have like a 1% opening rate and gets pretty spammy pretty fast. So how are we starting this thing? So we have the MVP all built out and working, the core platform. There's a lot of distilleries and wineries in the US, and almost all of them have a LinkedIn or website, and these have like contact information on them, so we can automate the reach out process pretty easily. which we've seen success with so far. So once we reach out to them, we want to charge about $1 a bottle, and plus a variable cost per the digital experience creation. And then kind of on a longer time horizon, we are looking to expand into other verticals because we think a lot of people probably have this problem with decreasing brand loyalty. So I guess like I'll just kind of demo what I mean because the idea might be kind of unclear. But so here I have a bottle of whiskey. Your first question might be why does he have a bottle of whiskey on his desk? And well, starting a company is stressful. So I have this sort of label on here, and that is ideally would be in the neck of the bottle, but I mean this is just kind of a prototype. So the app, you can scan the label, checks that it's authentic on the blockchain, and then we can do kind of cool digital experiences for marketing purposes. Like here's an AR experience on the bottle. And then scroll down, you get like authenticity details. But most importantly, when I scanned it, the club membership pass in the form of an NFT was transferred onto the phone's digital wallet. And so now I'm basically have access to all these perks that I mentioned, like tasting events or merch. And yeah, so that's pretty much everything. We are looking for a potential sales co-founder or distribution partners. So yeah.
Awesome. Nico, thank you for sharing, and thank you for that demo too. It really helped me solidify like what you guys are doing at Verilink, and it's really exciting. Looks like you have a couple questions in here already. So starting with Laura.
Oh yeah, sure. Let me figure out this. Let me figure out where it starts.
Yeah. Laura's asking,
gotcha.
Is it market consumer the stores?
I see. Okay. Smart consumer the stores. That's all. The consumer, so the customer would be the brands, not necessarily the stores. So like probably the people making the alcohol, and well, more specifically the brands, because the person who makes it isn't always the brand itself. But yeah, so the people making the alcohol, like big names like Jim Beam or like Ciroc, and the people getting the perks are the end consumers. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, we'll let Laura reply to that. But the next question I think comes from Jim. Asking about physical sample.
How about a physical sample? Physical sample. I guess was that I'm hoping that was before I did the demo, maybe. Yeah, I don't really understand, but I mean like the smart tag is kind of in the label right here. And this is like a prototype smart tag. So we have smaller ones, but they're in San Diego right now. Yeah.
Okay.
What makes the tags unforgeable? Yeah, so if you know about like cryptography, basically the tags have they basically sign challenges. So when you approach it with your phone, it sends it a challenge, and then the tag returns a signature. And ideally, it's in the neck of the bottle to so it becomes obvious if it's been opened. But like I said, these were prototype tags, so I just kind of slap it on the front. Thanks, Troy. Yeah.
Looks like there's another question from Greg there about which blockchain you're using.
Yeah, we're on Polygon right now, but like we think it's short-sighted to kind of stick to one blockchain because these are physical goods. So we are currently fronting efforts to support multiple chains and bridging the NFTs across them. This is for not for
Nandit. Yeah, so obviously adds the level of complexity with like Nandit in there too. But I guess a folks have other questions for Nico, we have some time here. I guess my question for you, Nico, is like, how did this come about for you, like to kind of figure out like how to solve this problem?
Yeah, I was working at another startup at the time, and we were trying to sell like merch and trying to get into NFTs. And I realized there's just no way to link physical things to the blockchain, and specifically to NFTs. So then once I kind of identified that, like I realized there's a ton of actual different use cases for the technology. And then we feel there's a strong demand, particular in liquor, just based on the customers we talked to. So that's kind of where we're starting.
Cool. Looks like you got a question from Michael there, and then Greg.
Oh, what's my whiskey of choice? I'm not a huge whiskey drinker, despite the fact that I have this thing on my desk. That's mainly for friends, actually. Estimated cost for gas and minting charges. That's a good question. So Polygon is a scaling solution for Ethereum. So it's basically free. I mean, it's like less than a cent to mint them.
Okay. We have about another minute for questions for Nico, if anybody has any. If not, Nico, do you mind repeating your ask for our group today?
Sure, yeah. And I just saw your comment, Michael, so thank you for that suggestion. So my ask is, we are looking for potential sales founder, because we have a very strong technical team, and we're kind of starting to automate the reach out process, but it'd be nice to have someone to focus on that full time. And we're also looking for potential distribution partners in the industry already.
Awesome. Well, Nico, thank you so much for sharing Verilink with us tonight. And everybody knows what your ask is, so whatever you can do to help Nico out, please do. With that, we're going to hand things over to our last presenter. I'm going to stop your share here. I'm going to hand things over to Troy real quick, and then introduce himself. Let's see. All right, so we're going to hand things over to our last presenter, Troy Morris of Kall Morris Inc. Kall Morris Inc. aims to be the first company with a commercially viable product for collecting debris in orbit. So with that, I am going to hand things over to Troy.
Thank you very much. Great presentation. As a fellow co-founder, I understand the keeping the bottle nearby, whatever your drink of choice. All right, are you guys seeing that okay?
Yep.
Awesome. So I'm Troy Morris, one of the 3 co-founders for Kall Morris Inc, or KMI. And like was kind of teased there, our company focus is keeping space clear for all. So I like to look at this at the problem. And when you're talking about something that's in orbit, a 1,000-meter view isn't even close to far enough. It's really something where you're looking at thousands of kilometers, but I want to go the other way and bring it back to home. Is connection. Is the average American is leveraging space 30 times before breakfast. So Amy here used it for getting to work, checking her email, phone to stay connected with friends. And when these services are just interrupted, it causes problems. Even just a small lag in a video conference can just kind of ruin the whole experience. With orbital debris, all of these services that utilize space could be disrupted not for a few minutes or a few hours, but for years and generations. So this debris threatens our critical resource, leaving us all disconnected. The problem is economical and physical. When you look at the economics, it's based on billions of revenue. When you're looking at the physics side, it doesn't care what country you're from or what latest app you bought. It just hurts, especially when you look at these objects that are going 17,000 miles per hour. When they collide, it can be something as small as a cantaloupe hitting a Jeep, for example. And at these orbital speeds, both are disintegrated. So those types of collision events happen all the time. On the bottom of this screen, you're seeing in red those fragmentation events. As you can kind of see with the green launches, it's increased over time from the first launches to more recent times. But to truly understand the blue, the objects in orbit, we have to take a step back and look to the future. Because as bad as things are with movies like Gravity, the ISS having to move out of the way of debris, the rocket that's going to be hitting the moon in a few days here, it's only increasing. And this debris growth is exponential. It's based on the number of objects squared, and with 10 times more launches in the next decade than have ever occurred, that little green line barely starts to catch up with that exponential growth of debris. So the problem is daunting, and it impacts us on a daily personal level. So we're looking at it for billions of revenue, and what are we going to be doing about it? It's starting with square one, the rocket bodies, the largest source of mass, the easiest to track object, and something that with 6 initial captures as our beachhead, KMI can actually start to turn that curve to a level field where we can maintain our operations, we can maintain our exploration into space and all these great resources that we get from it. How is a few pieces of technology. First is Tumbleye. It's a TRL4, if you're familiar with the scale, and it is a characterization system that on approach to an unrecognized object, we might have known what it was when it launched 50 years ago, but things change in space, especially when they're hitting each other. But with Tumbleye, we're able to characterize and plan the approach to go and capture this unrecognized, unprepared object. And that unprepared is the other half. When this launched on a rocket, it wasn't ready to be attached to. It didn't have a tow hook. And that's where Reach, TRL5, comes in on the right. This uses mechanical, I'll call them tentacles, as well as electrostatic deck adhesion to adhere to these unprepared surfaces like we have in a demo down there below. All of this would fly on a already tested system. You no longer have to build the whole rocket. You don't have to build your own solar panels. With the changing of the new space age that we're currently entering, a lot of these are components that are available and already tested, making our job a little bit easier. So here's a demo that's going to run for a few seconds here showing this hardware on a float table. This simulates in just 1 degree of gravity or 1 G of gravity, how this would function in orbit, being able to roll out one of what would be actually 8 arms. And it's a secure enough connection that even though you see that last arm isn't connected around with that EGA panel, it still is secure enough to manipulate the object. So here's just showing what that demonstration was looking at and how it can work for any number of things in space. Our model is based on not just the debris removal for government. I mean, a general said, I'll pay by the ton if they can remove debris, but also with industry. NanoRacks, a major player who's going to be building their own space station, working with us for long-term continuation of debris exchange and repurposing, turning these debris objects into new materials, components that we're reusing, reuse a solar panel if that part's still good. Customers are across the board, from government that you might recognize, reinsurance you may not have thought of, to operators you've heard of and even have in your life, and those new repurposing partners that we're gaining every year. So it's really an idea of make it and don't take it. How do we bring this problem and turn it into an asset in orbit? The team is more than just myself. I'm joined by Austin as our Director of Engineering, Adam as our Director of Technology, and with our pre-seed fund we did last year, we brought on Will, Bilal, and Liza to flesh out a lot of the experience across our team. So collaborators are across the state, but I see I'm out of time here, so I'll move it to the ask. We're looking for investors for our upcoming seed round. It's something that we're in the midst of some great traction events, longer discussions that I can fit in 5 minutes, but that's my ask, to find investors. We found some in our pre-seed round that really helped us establish here in Michigan, and we're excited to continue that growth. So there's my contact information if you'd like to learn more, our website, and I'll try and look at questions now. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks, Troy, for presenting Kall Morris to the group tonight. I look forward to the day when you are bringing in Elon's Tesla from space. With that said, looks like you have some questions already, starting with Lindsay here, asking about, well, he already asked about the customers. You already answered that. Jim is asking a question about prototypes.
Yeah, so prototype schedule is something that there's a ARM prototype sitting in Austin's lab right now. For an actual flight demonstration, that's something that we're looking at a scaled version on the ISS that would be taking place in Q3 of this year into 2023, depending on launch schedules. And then for an actual full demo mission, we're intending to have that by the end of 2025. And Michael, Elon is putting more junk out there, especially if you saw the recent geomagnetic storm, and a healthy portion of the recent launch Starlinks came back down. So that's definitely a frustration. I do want to address, while we're waiting for the question about the curse of the commons, but I see it's based on the last slide, so never mind. Propulsion. Actually, Manav, if we had a good enough telescope on this image on the screen, you could see where our propulsion comes from. So it's electric propulsion. It's actually coming out of Orbion, which is also here in the state of Michigan. So we are based in Marquette, Michigan. I don't know if you guys are seeing my cursor, but right in the middle of the Upper Peninsula, and our propulsion system is from Orbion Space Technology. They're up in Houghton. So it's Hall effect, but also Michigan based. So a benefit in both ways for us. What's the smallest object you could retrieve from Ken? So when we're looking at the scale of these objects, we've been able to, on our early calculations, go from everything the length of a box truck without doing crazy modifications down to something about the size of a basketball. So it really is quite a span of different objects. And as you saw in the video, it doesn't need a full wraparound to be able to control it. So there is an optimal object size, and it's really starting with those rocket bodies just because they are such a majority of the mass in orbit. And then charge per ton, it's a longer conversation than that. It doesn't exactly work charge per ton like you do for launch vehicles. It's a little bit different calculation based on where it's located and whether it's being reused or it's just raw mass. That's a longer conversation Lindsay would love to have, especially with my tech founder. I know he's just typing in 1,000 answers right now for us. And John, what does retrieve mean? Would go and capture a piece of debris. So a satellite or a rocket body that's not controlled, we can't move where it is, and it's at risk of colliding with something else. Retrieval would be the craft you see on the screen, Laylaps, going and capturing, controlling, and dutifully maneuvering that object around so that it's no longer just trash floating in the ocean, but you actually put it in a container. We're just talking a 6 degree of freedom ocean. And then how much more time do we have, Hein?
We have probably another minute or so.
Okay. I am not familiar with Start Engine for funding. We'll have to look into that, definitely. Mission management plans, priority object maps. We do have those. Those are in my longer deck that we used when we were down in Huntsville, talking with NASA at their OSAM conference. We actually were able to pull up of that week, if we were to be riding a rocket, what targets would we go for? You know, there's some Thor burner 2s, there's some Thor Agenas. NORAD item 733 always sticks in my mind of just an optimal target that is unused. It's just a large rocket body and it's ripe for the picking. So we do have some of those with the longer time. And Manav, I will use this as my last question. Would it be easier to push the junk away rather than bring it back? Is a huge misconception we get. One of the biggest costs for doing anything in space is getting out of Earth's orbit. There's a joke that if you get to circular orbit, you're halfway to anywhere. So by taking a spacecraft, going to an object, grabbing it, bringing it back to Earth to burn up, or even worse, trying to push it to the sun, is going to cost so much more in fuel and time and many other factors than of actually utilizing it in space. So it's a huge misconception that we get. And early, I think my favorite question is, well, why don't you just push into the sun? By the time you do the math, you could actually go to Jupiter 7 times. So it really is just an interesting study when you look at the orbital effects. But Hein, thank you very much for bringing me to represent KMI. And I look forward to the rest of this evening here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Troy, for sharing KMI with us. Yeah, I was really excited to kind of have you on here. So Troy, if you don't mind mentioning again what your ask was for the group before we move on.
Yep, our ask is based on looking for investors. We've got an upcoming seed round. We've found some great benefit here in Michigan, and we really enjoy how much we've been able to do here within the state. So we're looking to continue that. We've got obviously investors looking from both coasts, but what about the Great Lakes coast? So that's what we're looking for, is investors for our upcoming seed round.
Cool. Thank you so much for sharing that again. And I want to have folks virtually give an overall applause to our 3 presenters, was Nandit, Nico, and Troy presenting their starters with us tonight. What I really love was it just spanned the gamut of what they're trying to do. So it's really cool, from cars to space and everything in between with booze. So with that, that's the end of our presentations tonight. We're going to move into the announcement section. So if you have anything to announce, whether you have a meetup that you want people to check out, if you are looking to raise a round or hiring, feel free to type it into the chat right now. I'll kind of like say it out loud, and I'll also add it to our meetup page. I'll start us off by saying that if you've enjoyed yourself, especially if you're new, A2NewTech occurs every third Tuesday of every month. Our next one will be on March 15th. We already have a couple awesome speakers lined up for you, so definitely check it out. We'd love to have you. And if you yourself want to pitch or know somebody who should be pitching, feel free to send them my way. I'm going to add my email into the chat here, but it's hein@a2newtech.org. But yeah, like obviously you have seen from tonight, like what the type of startups we're looking for. But yeah, like for folks who have other announcements, feel free to type them into the chat right now. All right, so looks like Nandit sent this to me privately, so I'm going to share it to everybody here. There's a free to attend event coming up in March. There's the link. Sarah Kraft from the Michigan Founders Fund putting out a call for the Future Founders Internship. If you know an underrepresented college student who wants to work in startups, have them check out this opportunity with Michigan Startups at that link. The applications are due on March 1st. And people can contact Sarah directly with questions at sarah@michiganfoundersfund.org. Cool. All right. So see any additional questions in the moment, but I'll let folks like type that in for the next couple of minutes. If we don't have any other announcements, what we'll do is move into our breakout sessions. If any of you have any particular, like, as best as I can, like manage this. If you would like to be in a breakout room with one of our speakers, if they're able to hang out with us, let me know and DM as soon as possible. If not, I'm just going to put everyone into a breakout room. We're going to move about 4 or 5 people in a room, and I'll be just juggling people around if people aren't going to join them, so make sure you're not stuck in a breakout room by yourself. So just going to reiterate that our next meetup is on March 15th. That may or may not be hybrid live virtual. Be on the lookout for that. Looking forward to the ability to be able to kind of see everybody again soon. But with that said, thank you to our presenters, Troy, Nandit, Nico, 3 of you for taking the time to share your startup and your product with us tonight. It's all very, very exciting. And if we all have the ability to support these 3 fine, incredible people who are doing incredible things, please do where you can. And I want to thank everybody else who's joined us tonight for supporting our community and being there to show these people that what they're doing is not for naught, and that there are people out there who are really excited about what they're doing, and for the questions you guys all had to kind of help them work through their startup and their product. And yeah, and with that, I'm going to put everybody in some breakout sessions. All right, so here we go.